Yes, people. Easy, my patrons. How are we? So yeah, I've had this up from last week. This new effects rack for mixing, which I've called Frenic Sweeten and Smooth, because that's what it does. Beat you heard in the intro is a quick thing I put together to demonstrate some of the functions, and it's across all channels, including the master. And yeah, like I said, it's designed to sweeten, so some sort of EQ cuts in kind of problematic areas, and then smooth them out, basically. So we've got, like, we can smooth out harshness, we can smooth out muddiness, and then we can brighten and like bring things back to life once we kind of cut things, and just speeding up that workflow of this mentality of mixing, so you can chuck things on quickly and get things sounding pretty decent. So what I'll do first of all, I'll demonstrate it on the master channel here of the whole beat, and I've got it set to Sweeten. I'll just first of all play it with it off. Now on. Out. On. So you can hear how that's really bringing out the best of the kind of frequencies within the beat. You've got a few presets here, which I'll just run through on the master. Obviously not all of these are ideal for the master, but you'll see how the difference in sound you can get. So I've got bright and tight, warmer, top end squeeze, smooth low end, more for bass obviously, warm and tight, bright tops, something you might use for percussion for example. Back to the Sweeten original preset, and I'll just show you what's going on here with these controls. Okay, so what we've got two cut positions, which are basically like notch EQs. So we can cut the harshness, which would be like more of the top end brightness that's a problem, and also we can cut the mud, and then we've got a kind of range which we can sweep around to find where that harshness is. We've got a smooth, which is basically applying some multi-band compression to problematic areas. We've got a tighten, which is essentially a transient shaper, which can work really well with drums. We can like tighten them up, but can also work well on other jobs. We've got a squeeze, which is essentially a compressor, which is going to like flatten things out. And we've got a top fizz, which is going to add back maybe some brightness that we might lose by cutting, let's say, some of the harsher frequencies. And then we've also just got a high and low pass filter if we want to run off some of the tops or some of the low end, cut some of the low end out of stuff that's causing a problem. So on this whole mix again, I'll just show you. So if I open up the cuts, for example, right, I'm going to turn off smooth and stop it compressing. Tightens off, the filters are off, and then just to demonstrate these positions. So if I do harsh cut, hear that, cut that down, and I can sweep which bit it's cutting. So that sounds quite nice, cutting the 1K. Now the mud position is the low end stuff, so let's cut that. Have a little sweep around. That's too low. Some around this 200 is a bit muddy. And of course you can just set the amount so it's not so much. Now if I hit, I've actually got the top fizz on at the moment. You can hear this brightness, if this hand's back in. Smooth. Like I said, we've got a high pass. If you want to get some low end out, and of course the low pass. Just want to take that brightness back off. And the squeeze, like I said, it's a compressor, we can really squeeze this a bit harder. That's super compressed now. Some top fizz back in. So I'm being quite brutal with it there, so you can hear kind of what sort of stuff it can do. Let's just go back to the Sweeten preset that it was on before, and look at some of the jobs it's doing on the other track. So on the drums, it's doing I've started off with the warm and tight preset and then tweaked it slightly, I believe. That's without. Really tightens it up. Obviously, I'm using a lot more of the Titan here. So you can hear a lot more of the like the ambience of the drums. Really tighten it up, squeeze it a bit. Like I said, I've got rid of a little bit of harshness, a bit of mud, smoothed it slightly. Without. With. Now let's look at it on the bass. So on the bass here, we've got, obviously I've chosen the smooth low end preset. There's a little bit of I put a bit of drum bus on this sub so we could hear it a bit better on some smaller speakers. That's with. Without. With. Smooths out that mud. Just this bit. You know, and I could low pass this even more if I didn't want it so. If I want it more bassy sounding. Less sort of top end. So it works really well for bass. On this kind of chime sound, this ambient sound here. Without, it's a bit brighter and harsher. Hear how that's just smoothed that a little bit. And I didn't actually have the vocal on the track before, but I just want to show you that it's good on vocals. So without. You can hear that little harsh part of the vocal with. So you can hear really multiple uses for this particular effects rack I've made for you guys. So yeah, you can use it on anywhere. It can be used across your whole master. It can be used on buses, drum buses, etc., vocal buses. Really a multitask, super useful, quick, easy to use plugin that will make your mix instantly sound better just by applying this and having a few tweaks using some of the presets and stuff. So yeah, big up. Thank you as always everyone who supports me on Patreon. It's such a big help to me making content like this and carrying on making music. So yeah, you can get this on tier 2 initiation of my Patreon. And yeah, thanks so much and enjoy. Happy mixing, people. Peace.